Everything's a mess. I've been wanting to make a video for a while talking about the great and amazing things that I have been discovering for Smell of Fear. Um, I've been coming up with these awesome new ideas and I've been sharing them with people on my Discord, and I've been needing to make a video talking about all of these new discoveries, but that is not what this video is. You see, all the funding for Smell of Fear has been coming from my full-time job. And as of the past couple of weeks, my job has Today it's my birthday. I'm also unemployed now. My manager just decided he hates me. I can only think of a few reasons as to why he wanted to get rid of me so bad, but apparently the effort to try to get rid of me clearly stopped because he stopped being so prevalently out in the shop, from what I'm being told by people who still work there. Like, he was out for me. He wanted me gone. So, yesterday I went in and I turned in my papers and I was like, I'm done. I'm quitting. Goodbye. He wants me gone. He can have that. Sure. Whatever. Do whatever. I don't care. But I'm out of a job. I'm out of a job now. And I can't make Smell of Fear art anymore. We are almost at the time of recording, the 1 year mark where I finished making, no, where I started taking this idea for Smell of Fear seriously. On Halloween night, that is when I started taking the idea of Smell of Fear seriously, when I pitched like the brief idea to somebody, and it was something that got me started. Was somebody being like interested, being like, wait a minute, dude, you should pursue that. I want to play that. That's a good idea. But then there's more, because I used to have different versions of the story, but it's all like been moved around and changed and shifted as I've been coming up with new ideas that have completely changed the story, but it shares the same beats. Augustus used to have the name Little Johnny. His name isn't Little Johnny anymore. It looks like this, by the way. They have concept art of it now. His name is Augustus. And he's a fighter. And then we have Blue. And we have Loki. These two are polar opposites of each other. And Loki merges with Blue. I don't remember which was what. I don't have labels. The editing software doesn't leave, but at first I was thinking that Blue's father was pure evil. Or not pure evil, just evil. And he just beat the shit out of his kid Blue. But no. After I discovered in my head that Blue's father, a man who I have yet to give a name, Blue's father, he makes methamphetamine. And Blue sees that she can make money off of this methamphetamine that her father produces. So she steals it from him and sells it to anybody she wants. Anybody that wants it. But one day, she gets possessed by a demon. But she doesn't know that. This demon kills her father. This demon is also the player. This demon is also Loki. This demon was just looking for the attention that she was being deprived of. She was being deprived of a certain level of attention. And she saw Blue getting thrown through a window and was like, she's getting attention. Look at all the marks all over her body and how wounded she is. This is attention. This is attention that I want to have. It's something. And so she possesses Blue, and then she tries to turn Blue's father into her own father. And in doing so, she plucks one of her eyes out and hands it to him, not understanding what the ability was herself, and we as the audience have no idea. This might change later because I don't know. Is that a good idea? It's interesting for sure, but does it fit the overall narrative? I don't know. I'm interrupting the story to explain my thoughts here, but she gives him her eye. And then it sucks the life out of him and kills him. And I was thinking, oh yeah, that could be how she kills people, is she touches him with her eye, puts her eye in a staff-like thing and goes, touches people with it. That'd be interesting, I don't know. But I was gonna go on with the story and tell so much more of it. But the story doesn't know what it's trying to say yet. I don't know what Smell of Fear is. As its creator, I don't know, and I can't build an audience for a product that I myself haven't fully finished engineering. You see, a lot of people are telling me to stop trying to reinvent the bicycle. But in order to create something amazing and innovative, you have to take the time to innovate and invent. And I am going to do this because I am an indie creator. I don't work under a corporate ladder. I don't work under deadlines. I've got all the time in the world, despite the fact that, I am functioning under my own financial needs. Like, I have to pay for its production. And as of today, I am picking up a new skill to further along the production because I cannot pay for 3D artists. And I have experience working in 3D. But I haven't exercised my experience to become, the professional level of skill that I am looking for. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to start doing that. Right now, I'm unemployed. No job. And it's been like that. When I was wearing red, that was actually a few weeks ago on my birthday. It is now November 3rd. On a Friday night. And I've been out of a job for quite a while, but I am still looking at Smell of Fear and I'm going, this hurts me. This hurts me. This hurts my project. This hurts my passion. And I want to continue to pursue that. I want to continue to re-innovate and come up with new ideas and new things and themes to play with. But I cannot come up with art until I exercise some kind of finalized artistic skill. And if I am making the 3D models for the game, I mean, that's what my thought process is now. It's like, I gotta do that. I do that. But I am not sure. Is it the best idea? Am I pursuing too many things at once just to get one central thing done? Because I know that one of the main things I'm supposed to be doing is making a good story, but I also need visuals, and I also got to design the world, and I got to design the gameplay, and I got to design the abilities and the functionality in the world, and I just don't know. I don't know. I don't know what Smell of Fear is yet. Like, I have a basic guideline idea of what it's supposed to be, but what do I want to say? What themes are going to be explored? I do understand that I want to explore discrimination in a fictional sense, where demons are looked at in a discriminatory way in our world. And, like, you could say, what if a demon showed up in our world? Well, that's the player. The player's the demon. How would the world react to that? And then there is this other theme that I wanted to play it with one of the supporting cast members, Augustus. Like, remember this guy? There are some things I wanted to explore with that character. And I believe the theme that character wanted to explore was the idea that boys don't cry. Like, where does that belief come from? Does it come from the patriarchy, or does it come from a natural sense of learning because of the way that they are treated? Do men learn that it's not okay to be vulnerable because they get bitten every time they show themselves to be as vulnerable as they really are on the inside? I mean, that's a theme. It's an idea. I've grabbed that idea and I've kind of put it into my plethora of different ideas that I want to explore and play with. And then there's the other idea of Mezra, the demonic merchant. This isn't official concept art of her yet. I was actually talking to the artist recently and I was like, yeah, I want to use your art as a base. She's like, oh, use it as a base. You don't have to buy it or nothing. It's fine. It's whatever. But I don't want to like copy the character, because this was a D&D character for a D&D session. A D&D session of which apparently the original character, I believe her name was Thera, or Thara? I don't know how to pronounce it. That apparently she's a jeweler, and she became so obsessed with greed that she went into a cave and died in like the D&D session that was actually played out for her. So it was like, oh shit. And I was thinking about killing off my character that I was basing this off of. By the way, my character, you know, the one that this is going to be, her name is Mezra. Mezra. She is the demonic merchant, but she's also, she's not just a demon, she's a succubus, but then she plays a specific role in the narrative. She is like a mother figure to Loki. Mezra is one of the things that lie to you on the surface. Mezra is not who you think she is, because when you first meet her, her perception looks like an antagonist or something that is evil or otherwise not friendly towards you. But that's the point. Because she doesn't look friendly, because she's a demon, she is very easy to misunderstand. And there's that body language that she uses, that sassy attitude that just kind of tells people she's evil, she's got the red skin, she's clearly this demonic presence that needs to be put down. Because she's a danger to everybody else. How is she a danger? She's a succubus. She has an active sex life, but that's supposed to be a thing that's positive and helpful towards everybody else, but the world perceives that as like, that's a whore! Don't let her seduce you into her evil ways. Succubus. That's one thing I've thought about taking that or putting some other direction out there. I've kind of wanted to go a little bit deeper with it and pull out something else out of like the themes that I already have. Is like, cause they kind of, the more themes you have, the more things you can kind of click together. So it's like that click together that becomes it in and of itself a new idea cannot click until there's that new idea that comes into existence and goes. And that's like most of the game. There's like a lot of that stuff out there, and it just hasn't figured it out like what it is yet. And I'm using Obsidian, and yeah, that's what my brain is seeing, is all of my little sticky notes that I'm arranging and sticking to each other and linking, and all of that is it's interesting business. But yeah, with Mezra, that's her character dynamic, and that's where I want to go with her. Kind of. But then there's also the underlining theme that I kind of want to be consistent, and I think Mezra is the first thing that just kind of starts to show the audience what that theme is, that first initial idea, where things are not as they seem on the surface. She looks evil on the surface, but she's not actually. And then when you go into Act 2 and there's heaven, heaven is supposed to be perceived as this place that's super high in morality and regarded as a place of perfection and joy and happiness. And then you go up there and you start, as you just kind of like walk around up there and you explore on your own, it is like that on the surface. But as you are actually meeting people and talking to them, you see how much suffering they're going through, and how there's just like the way that they react to it is like, oh yeah, no, that's normal. And then they don't really make the connection that there's like, this is suffering, we are happy. They don't seem to try to falsify this at all, because they've been taught, we are happy, we are perfect, this is amazing. And then there's this piece of evidence that seems to kind of like disprove that. Nobody listens to that, because why? Heaven's culture is a communistic place where you're not allowed to like actually speak your mind, or maybe even think independently, and find pieces of evidence that are actually based on like trying to diagnose something as a truth, rather than just saying that it's truth, and say, don't try to disprove it, this is the truth, don't disprove it. And you show them a piece of evidence and they go, how dare you? Contracting evidence, you die. Something like that. Because like that's how some cultures really are. Specifically, religious cultures are like that sometimes. If you're a part of a religion and you're watching this and you're like, I don't see any of that, well, you're only seeing things on the surface. And I kind of wanted to explore that a little bit with heaven and the angel race, and how those characters and how that culture functions all around. Um, and then there is that other dynamic that I'm trying to explore in my head, and that is Loki's father. He is exactly what she is, but so much more evolved and stronger and more powerful than she is, like at a base level. And I'm kind of thinking right now, he's like the final boss of the game, but like the game acts like Elohim is going to be the final boss, or God is going to be the final boss, but that's not the case because the game continues, it keeps going. Um, and Elohim has this staff, and apparently that staff originally used to belong to Loki's father. Because there is this universe dynamic. Oh boy, yeah, this is one where a lot of people are gonna either get turned off or turned away. I have decided that Einstein's theory was correct, that there was a universe that existed before ours, and uh, and what happened was Elohim decided he wanted to be a communistic, terroristic ruler, and at least he there's that, or like what he wants is up in the air. I think my original idea is that he's looking at mortals that have control over the fourth dimension in this previous universe, and he's like, this is causing all kinds of problems and chaos, and we need to get rid of it because of balance or whatever. And so he goes back there. He goes and commits mass xenocides all over creation, with Lucifer and Michael being his sword and shield. Characters of which is like, oh wait, where's the concept art for that? There is none. I don't have a job. I can't give you concept art no more. I'm sorry, that's all I got. Um, okay, I do have some others, but it's like, eh, changes have been made. I can't really. But Loki's father, I don't know a lot about him. I'm thinking he is supposed to teach her something about herself in Act 2. Then he's supposed to um, be the final boss in Act 3 and come into conflict. And I want there to be more dynamics there. But there's a lot of ideas that are missing there that I have not explored, that I have not connected together. Like, he is supposed to support the final thought of the narrative. He is supposed to be the final conflict that makes a whole bunch of things come together. Um, with an angel character probably being involved by the name of Esther, who is a character in Act 2 that I don't have a musical theme for, but I do have this. This is art I've made myself because I believe I am very passionate about this character and what I want this character to do and think and feel and be. Esther is supposed to teach Loki what love and loss is. Loki has experienced loss, but she hasn't learned how to grieve her losses. She hasn't learned how to be human in some certain ways, and Esther is going to give her that missing part of herself that Loki doesn't understand. And then there are some beats. Now, what is the loss? I know what this is. I know what this is, and a lot of people in my Discord know what this is. What is Loki's loss that she has experienced before she has met Esther? Augustus. This character dies. But she doesn't really know how to react to it. Blue does. Blue knows how to react to this. But Loki is very conflicted on the inside. Ooh. Loki is a character that is not allowed to cry. I already have established this. Now I have this other idea where there is that character Augustus who feels like he can't cry because it makes him vulnerable. Loki quite literally doesn't really know how to be vulnerable because she is, in a sense, an unstoppable force. So she can't be emotionally vulnerable in a lot of different ways. But then when she loses Augustus, there is that feeling of vulnerability. So how does she react to that? Well, there's another theme that has to come in to play there that puts an expectation with the audience that will either tell the audience kind of like, we're going this way, but we're lying to you with this other piece of evidence. So it's kind of makes the audience go, I kind of want to lie to the audience there, but should I? Do I? Is that the play? I don't know. What is this story going to do at this part? There's a lot of questions unanswered that I myself need to answer. And, like, it's easy to come up with a stupid answer. Very easy to come up with a stupid answer. But is it interesting? No, it's not. I mean, you could also make it make sense. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. But does it contrast with the conflicting or already predetermined themes? Does it fit into the narrative? But also, does it contrast with the already established themes and the narrative? These things are hard. These things are hard because you know what? I know what I want to mess with. When you're the storyteller, it's like, yeah, it's very easy to just make events be things that happen, and it's like, oh wow. But the audience is not going to be nearly as intrigued as the writer is with the story that is being told. Like, the writer loves his work more than his audience will. The writer has to understand how to make the audience engage with those ideas. And in order to get the audience to engage with those ideas, you have to understand what different people engage with, for one. Then you got to understand what engagement types you're going for. This is picking your audience. And then you have to understand how to pull that audience along your path, and how to, like, plant those expectations with their engagement type. This is something I've learned from a friend. There are these things called engagement types, but you have to know what they are. And as a writer, I don't know the engagement types that are going to, like, click in. I know what I engage with, and I know what I am interested in subconsciously. I know what engages me, but I'm not consciously aware of what kind of specific things cause me to, like, be very intrigued. I've been starting to realize camera movement and the way that the camera, like, does things in a cutscene is one of the things that makes me like, what's happening? Where is this going? What are you doing? Why are we following this? Why are we panning away? Why are we doing this with the camera? Why are we panning to the side with the music swelling or decreasing in this way? What is this character talking to? You know, just camera movement in general. There was actually an analysis on Arcane that I was watching this morning that was like, cameras. That is an engagement type. That is one thing that you use to weave into your story and engage the audience. But when you're doing a video game thing, you don't get to have control of the camera during the gameplay. Telling a story through the gameplay is a lot different, and it's like you're very much more, you're both given more options, but you're limited to what like a lot of us film enjoyers are used to. And there are a variety of ways that storytellers in video games have figured out how to engage the audience with a story mid-game, and that's when there is a character following the protagonist or the player, and it's just kind of going around and doing things, and sometimes dialogue comes out of this character at certain times, and it's like, story. Or you go when you complete an objective and then you hear dialogue, then you are running towards an objective and you hear dialogue. And yeah, I'm kind of like, is that it? Is that all you can do? There's got to be more, man. I mean, you've got you know, separate plot points where the player gets to make decisions that change the way that the plot goes, and I'm like, I can't do anything but a linear story here, because like, having to code in linear story means that I have to come up with more narratives and themes that I have to play on to make the story interesting in every way that it branches out. And I'm having a hard time making the one single canon story that's like, yeah, I've got a lot of different ways that things could play out, but that's the point. It's supposed to make the audience, how is this going to play out, this way or that way? And because it's linear, like, it bobs and weaves their expectations in such a way that's like really fun. But again, narrative, themes, contrast. This video has been dragging on for a long time. I don't know when I'm going to be posting more on YouTube, honestly. Like, this video has kind of taken a lot out of me to make, and a lot of different times where it was like, I don't know if I'm going to be releasing this onto YouTube, or I'll do it later, or I'll procrastinate, because I'm actually focusing more on the game than I am focused on making YouTube videos, because like, YouTube is not part of what makes me revenue. YouTube is just kind of like where I'm documenting parts of the process right now, or at least that's the plan. Maybe I can use it to get attention later when there is stuff to get attention with, but right now it's just kind of like, I still need to develop my skills, and I still need to develop more story and art and stuff. There's not enough stuff. So yeah, come back with more stuff. That's what will cause me to come back here, is when I got stuff, when I got skills, when I've got more to present. With that being said, though, I wish everybody a good night.